Hey, board gamers. BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back in the Gumbo pot with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 169. Gumbo Live, the number one Tuesday night Facebook Live talk show in Wall Lake, Iowa, dedicated to board games. Our special guest tonight, it's Rob from the Board Boys podcast, but I hear that he also has his own special guest. We're going to get right to. Well, we definitely have a multiple special guests tonight. We also have Logan from the Southern Board Game Fest and the Acadiana Discord. But I want to jump in with Rob first because we have a special guest with him. Let's see if he's available. Rob from the Board Boys, welcome in.
Yo, we have guests.
Is that Tom Vassell?
No, but he's met Tom Vassell, and he had a conversation with Tom about how his dad does a board game podcast and he should listen to it.
All right, everybody out there in Gumbo Land, well, we're all going to sing happy birthday, or we're going to wish happy birthday to Bo. Happy birthday, Bo. And I hear you got something to show us.
Yeah, this is a game I got for my birthday. It's called Hold Your Ground. It's a battle royale based game. I learned it myself. It's probably the first game I've ever learned myself and taught somebody.
He did.
And
show him the box
it's
cover.
really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's really cool. And then
is that like Challengers but with Mountaintop?
It's very, very
Oh, look at that.
different. So you move your little characters around the board, and sometimes you get to press this button, which depending on what tile it's under, it blows it up with all the people on it. And there's 4 different teams with different cards, and like so all of the tokens, you have to have a straight path to the middle token, which is the flag, or it collapses, which means you just take all of the stuff off.
That sounds wacky and wild. Now, Bo, you are a podcaster, isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you do for the Board Boys?
I do bonus episodes. BEA. It's yeah.
Well, my friend Steve is in the chat, and he, I'm sure, approves of a bonus episode. Now, Bo, for tonight, though, your name is not spelled B-E-A-U. Do you know how it's spelled?
How?
B-E-A-U-X, because you're on Gumbo Live, and we put X on the back end of everything.
They sure do.
Bo, hey, now that wasn't even a joke, right, Rob? You were in Louisiana. You saw that we do. Look, there it is. Bo Knows Games. That's right. Love it. There it is. Bo Knows Games. Well, Bo, I'm so glad you got on. Happy birthday. That game looks great. Looks wacky. It looks wild. It's called Fight in a Challenger Box. No.
Hold Your Ground. It's by Buffalo Games. And
wait, Buffalo Games, see it Target and Walmart.
Yeah, it was actually on the Target sale. It was like $5. Okay. And it was definitely worth the $5.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's pretty cool. You play 2 cards and you flip one each way, and like that's how you determine what you're doing on your turn. It's strategic, wacky, and fast, and you get to slam a hammer down. So
no, you get to slam a button and then it makes stuff explode.
Okay, so learn it really well, and then next year at SoBo we can do a guided playthrough with Bo in charge of teaching people how to play. What do you think?
The guided playthrough.
Okay.
All right, Bo, we're in. Well, thank you for joining the Gumbo Live. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna visit with Rob, if you don't mind. Your dad. I'm sorry.
That's me.
I kept. Yeah. Bye. Thank you, Bo, for joining the show. Glad you got a great game to celebrate. That's right. So we're in here, and Steve's in the chat. He'll be running the chat tonight because I think Verta's still working. And I am so pleased that we get to do the big announcement for Rob. He's been holding it all weekend. It's Board Boy Con, taking place at the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium. And I just don't remember the dates again because y'all sold out 80,000 tickets, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's February 30th. One day only.
2039, right?
Yeah, 2039. Yep.
All right. So, yeah, April 31st, Steve. We got to do an April Fool's joke, right? I don't think anybody actually believed that Board Boy Con sold out 80,000 seats at Las. What do they call the Raiders Stadium over there? Oh, it's Al Davis Memorial Stadium, right?
Yeah, Allegiant Stadium.
Allegiant, that's right. Allegiant.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm over April Fools. I don't know. I think everybody does it, but board game companies love to do it. It seems like
Yeah.
everybody does one. I just have to turn the internet off today.
Was there any good one though that you enjoyed?
I did enjoy the Hues and Cues one that was many different colors of beige.
Yeah, and I sent that to Steve. I mean, come on, that's a pretty clever one, right?
Yeah, I like that one. I
Yep.
think like CGE did something with SETI. I didn't look too deep into it. It looked like they were like had like a real like planet-sized version of it.
An
or something.
inflatable Earth that you could do SETI on there. Yep.
Yeah, something
That
like
was a
that.
pretty good one. Jamie didn't even do any products today for a Stonemeyer. Usually he has some kind of wacky product, like
Yeah,
chocolate
like he
eggs.
does like a real one, right?
But not this year. He didn't do it.
Yeah.
He just did a video. I think my favorite of all the ones, because I wasn't too big of a fan of all this stuff, but I thought my favorite one was the one you mentioned. That was a good one. Hues and Cues, beige edition. That's a clever one, right?
Yeah, it was super good, I thought.
All right, well, welcome into the show. But before we get started, tell everybody, because you've been on the show before a couple of times now, I think, but tell everybody, just in case they haven't heard of the Board Boys, what is that?
The Board Boys podcast. We are four guys that do a board game podcast every other Thursday. And we started off doing games in the top 100. Who were they for? So grandma didn't go and buy you Gloomhaven,
Whiskey, water, H2O, and O cask. I like that. And y'all limit yourselves to the top 100 each and every Bible, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we ran through the top 100. We've been doing it for 6-7 years now. So now it's just kind of the hotness. We play games. We all have four pretty diverse viewpoints. So I think our show really brings a lot of different viewpoints to the thing. And, we have some wacky stories and some banner. And I don't know. We have a fun Discord. You can go to theboardboys.com and get links to the Discord and all our social media, and all our episodes are out there or wherever you get podcasts.
Well, I am not by myself tonight. I got another host here to come in. And I'm going to bring him in. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Logan. What's up, Logan?
Hey.
Oh no, his mic's off. He's got to turn that mic on so we can hear him.
And by the way, hear me now. Great.
Now we can. And by the way, this is like the fourth day in a row he's wearing one of those Roosevelt shirts. I'm pretty sure, because I've seen you every day in one: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now Tuesday.
Yeah, it's time for me to do laundry. I'm down to less than 10.
Oh no!
I have like 85 plus.
So, gentlemen, have either one of you been to a convention lately?
I recall
there
was
that one.
Yeah, I'm still recovering from it.
All right, so wait, let's set the scene. So this past weekend, because we've only mentioned on the show every other week for the last 3 months, was Southern Board Game Fest at our new facility at beautiful downtown Lafayette's downtown convention center. And Rob was able to go. But Rob, I want to talk about your travels to Lafayette. Your buddy kept it a pretty good secret. No one knew that you were going to come. A pretty big surprise, right?
Yeah, it was I don't know. I found a pretty good flight, and I was like, hey, BJ, what if I come? Let's keep it a secret. That didn't really happen.
I kept it a secret for the most part. We had 200 something people there, and only like 2 knew, or maybe 3 or 5.
Yeah.
But not many people knew.
One figured it out. No one told the one, but he figured it out.
Well, I kept saying Dr. Reiner Kanitu was going, and for some reason Logan didn't believe me.
Nah.
But you didn't think you said there was another choice it could be.
I thought it might have been Verla. I would have loved to have seen Verla.
Verla was supposed to come. So do the Board Boys have the equivalent of a boy band stereotype? The quiet one, the cute one? Who's Ringo?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not good with the Beatles analogy, I guess, but
Rob's McCartney for sure.
Rob's Paul McCartney, yeah.
Yeah, I would need an outside vantage point for that, I suppose.
All right. So you took a flight down to Lafayette. Somebody picked you up at the airport, stayed up till 11
even
o'clock
like
at night.
past his bedtime, even.
Way past my bedtime. Had some pecan praline waiting for you. Was that your first taste of pecan praline?
Well, probably. My wife is allergic to nuts, so I kind of stay away from them usually.
What'd you think?
It was good. Yeah. Very sweet. I don't know. I got a lot of good Southern food down there. So
that last meal you had before you left, though.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see. What was the last meal? I missed that one. I had to work.
We had some
So
Pops Po'
it was
Boys.
Pops Po' Boys. We got him the Cajun Castro. It was
Yeah, it
some
was
collard
good.
greens, some Swiss
Well, so he was
cheese.
telling me he's like, I ate a po' boy, but it was like a Cuban. I'm going, what did he eat? What po' boy would be like a
The Cajun
Cuban?
Castro is the Cubano.
Okay, is that what it
Cajun
is? Okay.
fry. Yeah,
That threw me
had,
off.
like collard greens, fried pickles, ham.
That'd be the
Swiss cheese.
first person I would ever have heard that said a fried crawfish po' boy tasted like a Cuban. I'm like, what?
No. We discussed the menu obviously before we placed the order because I was determined that he was going to eat something decent before he left because con food is not Cajun food. Even though there was jambalaya, he did.
The
have
jambalaya was really good.
Jambalaya was good.
Yeah,
Rob?
and I thought the
what
food
kind of
truck
host
did a
would I
decent
be
job.
if he didn't increase his blood pressure by the time he left?
Yeah, I took the gym off this morning too. Tomorrow I'm back at it. So
I thought that the jambalaya was actually pretty dang good.
Oh,
man.
I had
Really
like
good.
4 bowls, but also I burned a lot of calories that day for sure.
All right, so that's wrap up on the food. This first time ever we were able to have a food truck, well, food trailer, right?
Vendor, we'll call him a
food vendor. They had a little trouble with the lightning and the rain. That we got to fix that for next year.
dude, those poor guys out there, it like monsooned on them on and off all day. It was rough.
Louisiana in the spring, man. That's just how it goes.
And then you saw Sunday was beautiful. I mean, just an absolutely gorgeous day. So
Look, let's be honest. I'm surprised you guys get to have me on today because I had to replace my entire network from the lightning storm. Completely fried my router.
It was rough. Rob, you just missed it. I mean, the throughway by the airport when I picked you up, that throughway had about a foot of water on it on Monday, and I had to drive through that with stalled cars off the side. It was a wacky storm.
Yeah, I mean, well, when I left your house on Monday morning, you were like, you lived in a lake.
Yeah, okay, so you did see it. I forgot. That's right. You did see that storm.
Because
Okay.
that was the last day. Yeah, we spent the day with Jeremy Dobler before he took off on Monday. And it was a very exceptionally wet day.
So I know he went to the Dobster domain, but before that, he got his first visit to the Gumbo Pot. Logan, you've been many times. But Rob, what do you think of the Gumbo Pot? You kind of saw the behind the scenes.
Yeah,
right?
I know all the tricks and secrets now, but I can keep them, so it's fine.
Yeah, you do a better job than I did of keeping those secrets. Dude, that wood paneling is all real that you see.
It
behind
is. It's legit.
Man, BJ, this is not good for your business. This lawyer-client privilege thing you got going.
If he wrote me a check, none of y'all would have known about this. Well, to be fair, there was nothing I could do about Mitchell. He saw his name on the list. Mitchell's got the badges. Mitchell knew right away who that was.
I kind of figured, and like as soon as he's like, you got to sign up for this event. I'm like, well, my name's going to be all over the place now. So
John Newman saw your name in the list, but he watches board game stuff on Teletype and an IBM Selectric. So that's how he gets his board games
to his house.
He gets it faxed, so he doesn't watch YouTube or Twitch or anything. So that he was not going to recognize Board Boy Rob, even though you guys grew up like 5 minutes from each other.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's 5 minutes, but Iowa's Iowa, right?
It was a very small state.
Look, everything north of I-10 is 5 minutes away.
Logan, I can get to Iowa in like 35 minutes.
Oh, yeah. 40, depending on traffic, if it's cane season and you're buying a cane truck.
You know, that is sad that we did not drive out there and get Rob to take a picture in Iowa, Louisiana.
Iowa, we should have taken him.
I know.
Why not? Why did we think of this?
Just 365 days, and then we can do it when he comes back.
That's it.
All right, so we talked about the food. We talked about your first visit to the Gumbo Pot, even though we didn't stream. He kept me up all night on Sunday night night, right? Playing Sardinia, kicking my butt in Sardinia. First move in Sardinia, I completely hosed it. Didn't realize what area we were scoring, and Rob's just like looking at me, shaking his head.
It's okay. I did that like 3 more times during the game, though.
We were brain
dead,
man.
3?
Because you have like 2 cards flipped up, and every time you get to make that decision of what's going to come up next, in my brain, I'm like, okay, that's what we're doing next. No, that's what we're doing next.
That's what we're doing next. So Sardinia is from Crafty Games. That was kind of cool unfolding that board, right, Rob?
Yeah, that thing. And then you tried to make me put it back in the box. I'm like, I want to go to bed.
We're already tired, and we couldn't put it back. It's the Play T L board where the box is the board, and you fold it back up to put it together. It's an area control game but the area control pieces that you put out are using the Concordia mechanic. You play a card, and then you play another card, and when you're ready, you play the Sentinel card to pull all your cards back up. And that scores, that's when you do the scoring on the area majority. So it's kind of a cool twist, right, Rob?
Yeah, and that it's by Stefan Dora. It's on my wish list now. It's a fun 60-minute 2 to 4 player area controlled game, and like there's a lot of neat things going on with it, and like the rule set is fairly simple, so you can get on the table pretty easily. And I think it was like $25 or something. So
$25. I remembered about 78% of the rules, so it was very smooth.
Yeah, it was a general BJ teach for sure.
Too many games. I got to review.
He started off teaching me Lisbona. He goes, "It's simple." No,
you just play a card,
and then you do what?
That's what he said. And I'm like, yeah, and then it triggers an algorithm 3 pages
No. You
long.
play a card.
What do you do?
And then you draw a card. That's it.
That's the whole game.
That's the whole game. Play a card.
I don't know what people complain about.
Me neither. That is the one. So while I have Logan in here, there's 2 things I wanted to talk about with Rob and see if Rob agrees with me. So we had the hot game section that Logan was kind enough to run, and then we had the play to win section that I didn't run, but I was getting some of the games. Do either one of you guys have any thoughts on what was, because we're going to go over the list of the actual checked out games from the library.
Okay.
We have those stats, but the play to win and the hot games we don't keep track of. So what did you guys get a sense of what in the hot game section, which is all of our Essen and Gen Con games, what was the game that was kind of exciting that people seem to be playing a lot? I've got mine in mind.
I did not take Critter Kitchen off the table all weekend.
That was mine. There was always somebody playing Critter Kitchen.
Yeah, I never got a chance to play it, unfortunately.
Were the 2 on the table the longest for sure.
Yeah. SETI was set up on the other table. That's right. I forgot about that. So, Rob, you never got a chance to play Critter Kitchen?
No.
I never did either.
No, it's on my list to check it out. The only things I played on the hot games were games I've played before. So one was Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth, which that game is fire, and some Captain Flip. With the Kraken map, which I got the Kraken map at BGG Con, and I hadn't played it yet.
It's a great map. It's a great map. That reminds me. So yeah, I saw Captain Flip played a lot too. That's a game that stayed on the table a lot.
And I think that would also kind of correlate. This would translate into your play to win stuff too. It's games that are easy to churn out in 15-20 minutes. Obviously, I think they get played more just because it's easier to get more reps in and stuff. And you know how it is. There's so many people you want to play with in a weekend at a con that you're constantly like, all right, I need to play with this person. Let's sit down and play trio for 15 minutes, or let's play Captain Flip for 20. Or Lord of the Rings Duel. I saw a lot of people like, oh, do we need to play a game? What's 30 minutes or less? So there was a lot of that transitional in between the big heavy hitters, which is the guided playthroughs and a lot of the hot games, someone even sat down and played Unconscious Mind, which I thought was ambitious of them in the hot games area.
Yeah. What about the play to wins? What Rob, what did you see that you thought was pretty hot? Like you saw people just constantly checking out all day. Did you see anything like that?
No, they were just mostly gone most of the time. The first day I was pretty busy, so I didn't check it out as much. The second day I was like, okay, I'm gonna maybe check out a play to win. But every time I walked by, there was maybe like 1 or 2 on the table.
We had 30. We had almost 35 games both days, and every time I would go by, there was 4 or 5 left. That's it.
Yeah. All day Sunday, it was like there's like 5 games sitting there. I'm like, all right. I know
I've been toying around with
one of these, but
let me shoot this out there and see what you guys think. But I've been toying around with the idea of why shouldn't the whole dang library be play to win? Because that's all the people tend to.
You just gave Newman a heart attack.
I know I did, and that's fine. But he's not going to get that fax for 3 days, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
So, because I'm all about being unique and being fun, and the hot games was awesome. I got to teach a lot of people.
Rebel Princess was very hot.
Oh, Rebel Princess was. I did see a lot of that. I did see a lot of FinSpan for sure.
That's
too.
the one I was going to say. FinSpan was
Yeah.
the one that I saw
But-
nonstop checked out
But
for the play to win.
you know, the library, there's a lot of great games in there, but so many people, you know, I get it. We're not in the best economy right now. People want to get their money's worth. So the play to wins were the hot games, right? Just because people like free stuff and like chances at free stuff. And also it makes people try stuff that they maybe wouldn't try otherwise. You know,
The
which
other
is
one I
always
saw,
cool.
I don't know if you guys saw it on the tables a lot, was a hamster roll from 25th Century
Yes.
Games.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hamster Roll's really fun.
That day that it was available in the hot games, I mean, people just kept
It
checking
was just
out
rolling all over the place.
over and over.
Yeah, I found at our local con, not local, but in Cedar Rapids, there's one in February that I went to this year, and they had play to wins as well, and that's how I discovered. And I can't remember the name of the game. It's the Sea
You talked about it
Dragons,
on the podcast.
Sea Monsters, Sea Dragons.
Yeah. I played
Sea
that
Dragons,
at VGG
yeah.
with Mitchell. Yeah.
Sea Dragons, and like that game is super fun, and I would not have tried that by just kind of like looking at it normally. So,
All right, so don't look at the show notes. Have you guys looked at the top 15 list at all?
No.
All right, so I've got the top 15 games in my hands right here.
okay.
My formerly Mountain Dew stained hands.
From the library?
This is the top 15 from the library, not the play to wins, not Logan's Lair. Okay.
Okay.
Which
I
was
like that. We might call it next year.
Logan's Lair, which was across the hall from the dungeon.
Yeah.
we got to fix that next year. That
The
dungeon
literal
didn't
dungeon.
have
I
it.
know. I agree. I 100% agree.
Oh, man.
I thought it was gonna be brighter in there.
I never used the word parlor the entire time. It was like people would say, "Where's the scheduled games?" And all I'd have to say is in the dungeon. They go, "Oh, I know." I mean, like, right? They knew exactly where that was.
Yeah.
We
We're
got
gonna
to
have to
get
get some
gotta
lights.
get those lights fixed. Sorry about that. That's one of the things we'll have to work on. But all right, so Logan, I'll go to you. What's your choice? What do you think was the number one checked out game in the actual library? And Melissa, if you know it, let me know. Oh, Dave says it's your turn in Robin Hood. Are y'all playing it online?
Yeah, I'll
Jess?
talk about that in a little bit.
Okay, good.
I would
Logan?
say in the library, we gave away FinSpan. I don't know if we had a copy in the library. That's another thing. I was so busy.
FinSpan was
had
not in the top 15, surprisingly.
interesting.
Yeah.
But was it in the library?
I don't know what's in the library. I
It
would know
was
about
not-
Right, and
it.
that's the thing. And
It's
I
not
also
in
had
the
a lot of
library.
crossover with the library.
It's
I know
not
Captain,
in the library.
I know Captain Flip was in the library,
Yeah.
which I had in my section. I think Wandering Towers was in the library, which I also had in my section.
Yeah. So these numbers are going to be depressed because FinSpan was not in our library. So yeah, and some of the
But-
ones you're talking about. So
But yeah, a lot of
You have
people
a
were definitely
guess?
playing it. Geez, in the library, check out.
it was everywhere. I mean, it was absolute. Every time I turned around, somebody was playing it.
Rebel Princess.
No, Rob,
No.
we didn't
Azul.
have that one in the library. So that was over in the
That was another thing I saw a
Play to
lot
win.
all over the place. But yeah, okay.
Or if we did have in the library, people were just getting it from the play to win
Play to
instead.
win. Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah.
any ideas?
Azul.
Azul was not in the top 15, but you know what it was? It was Harmonies.
Oh, that makes
Oh.
sense now that you say this. Yes.
It
Which
was
was also, that's the thing, it was a crossover because it was in my section. It was also with me.
That's what was so impressive. It was a donation. Thank you. Shout out to Anubis. It was a donation from Anubis. But even though it was in your section, it was still the most checked out game from the
Yeah.
library.
And game, Little Wars actually had a demo copy out on their table to sell, and they sold a few copies for sure.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
probably
Rob, I don't know
wasn't
if you
even-
saw.
There
People
was
were
probably
demoing
even,
it at Little Wars
more
too.
people playing Harmonies than was checked out just because there were
Yeah,
more
they
copies
had
floating around.
Harmonies and FinSpan over there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and I've
It's
never
a good way
played
to sell
Harmonies.
some more games.
Have you
Harmonies
played
is
it?
super
is
fun.
Azul the Cascadia game.
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, I am not a spatial person as far as those games go, but I enjoyed Harmonies a lot. It's on
Yeah.
VGA. I got a copy in the Secret Santa last year.
I'm
So
about to say, you know, I have a copy because it was in Hot Games. So
I've never played it. But
Well,
how
we'll
about
fix
this?
that.
How about the number 2 game? And I'll give you a hint. It's a 2-player game only.
I mean,
I'll give you another hint. 2-player game with amazing art.
Is it Duel for Middle Earth?
It's not Duel for Middle Earth, which did not make the top 15. But again, it was in Logan's section, so that kind of messes that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Top 15. Logan, 2-player game, beautiful art. I bet if I said the artist, Rob would get it. Or maybe you too, Logan.
probably, but I'm trying to think of some hot
For
2-player games
two
right now.
players, is it new? New.
Relatively new within the last year. delivered to Kickstarters late last year. It's got Weberson Santiago art.
Is it Azul Duel?
It's not. It is Kelp Shark versus
Kelp.
Octopus.
That was also in my area. You see,
Yeah.
But that tells you how popular this game was.
Yes,
it was the number
it
2
was
game
all-
checked out, even though Logan had a copy already.
Yeah, I need to get that played. That was I remember I asked you this weekend if you knew how to play it because I wanted to try it. So
I know like 64% of the rules, but Doug was there. Doug and Logan could teach it.
Yeah, we both own it, and
Yeah.
I had it.
All right, the last one.
You can never play enough at a con. There's
No,
always
we
going to be a
need-
litany of games. You
if
don't
somebody
play.
can invent the time like distortion bubble,
Or teleportation, where I can just come to you with my copy and we
yeah, I
play
mean
it
that's
and I come
always
home.
that's always the joke, right? It's like, can we slow down time so I can play more games?
Look,
I gotta have
look,
6
for
hours of
example,
sleep.
BGG Con, right? Whenever we went this past fall,
Yeah.
BJ warned me not to bring games because you just never bring them. But then he asked me to bring like 3 titles for him to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, we
And I
can
didn't
tell
play
Rob
any
not
of
to.
them.
We can tell
And-
Rob not to bring games. He's gonna have 3 suitcases of games.
What are we gonna do on day 0 if I don't bring
It's
any
true.
games?
Or day 4.
Yeah,
Or
that's
day
true.
4.
All right. So what do you got? Last one, and then we'll get to all of our choices for talking about different games. But last one, what do you think was the 3rd most played game? And I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
Steve, see if you can figure it out. I'll give you a hint. It was an IP game, and it's very relatively new. Is that a contradiction? Relatively very
Also
new.
a 2-player game.
It is also a 2-player game.
All right. Well, there we go. I got number 3.
Yeah, Logan figured it out. So Rob, you
Is
got it?
Lord of the Rings Duel?
No, it's not Lord of the Rings Duel. No.
It wasn't even the top 15, huh?
Yeah,
Hmm.
no. I don't want to force you guys into a choice, but I think you should think about it.
Oh, Star Wars: The Deck Builder.
Star Wars, the deck building game.
Which is funny because it's not even the new copy. The new copy is this one. We had the older copy.
Oh, I assumed it was Clone Wars. No.
No,
it
that's
was
not even
the
that new.
regular one.
That game's like 4 years old.
Oh. I thought it was
But again,
the new one.
You just named 3 quick games, sub 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Dual game. 2 of them were dual games.
Yeah, we just did a podcast episode with a bunch of dual games when we had 2 of us, and one of them was the Star Wars the deck building game. I really like it.
I love that game, man. It
Yeah.
is such a sleeper. It's a good game.
So we're gonna get to each of our spicy hot games. But just to round out the top 10 or 15, we had Donut Shop, Paint the Roses, and Magic Maze, which were all tied for fourth through sixth. Donut
Paint the
Shop,
Roses?
Paint the Roses. People like that game. That's
No,
your
I
game,
like
by
it.
the way.
I used to own it. I love a good deduction game.
Yeah.
But
Magic
that game
Maze
just-
surprised me because it's
I
older,
mean,
but there's a new
gray matter
edition.
comes out of your ears when you play that game.
Yeah,
Like-
I think Magic Maze has a new edition, and maybe people wanted to try it before they buy
Sure.
it.
I did
Yeah,
see
that
Magic
might be it.
Maze a bit.
Yeah, the Magic Maze Tower is the newer one.
Yep.
I got a demo of that at one point, and it's pretty cool. I like
Arcs,
the original one too.
coming up next was Arcs, Wingspan, and Flamecraft. Flamecraft
Okay.
is still being played, still being checked out. It's still popular. I was
Probably all the
talking to
people
Robin at
waiting to play
Anubis.
Critter Kitchen. They wanted to play something by Sundara Tang.
I asked Robin at Anubis. She said we have to always have it in stock because people will see it on Facebook and want
Yeah.
to pick it up.
It's always it's just the pretty and the mainstream stuff,
Yeah.
Yep.
If it has span in the title, it's going to be popular too.
Wingspan. That's right. All right. So, Rob, why don't you go first? Is there any spicy hot games you played at Southern Board Game Fest that you want to talk about?
Man, I don't know. I played so many games. I think, and I put a bunch of them on my list that I'm gonna track down probably at some point. But
Is one of them right over my shoulder? Well, that wasn't at.
yeah,
Is it over my shoulder right here?
No,
Not
I
that
don't
one.
on Monday
think
we
that-
played Endeavor Deep Sea, and
Oh,
I think he really liked it.
yeah.
You want to talk about that one first?
Sure. I mean, it sounded like I was gonna come home with Jeremy's copy.
Dude, Jeremy was still like selling it, and then halfway through the game, he's like, I remember why I like this game now.
Yeah, I think before the play, he was gonna like sell it to me, and then after the play, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's fun with 3 people." I think he had a subpar 5-player experience at the con. But
So
I've
tell
never,
us about Endeavor Deep Sea. What's the mechanic? I still haven't played it yet.
so I've never played the original game of this, and I really didn't know much about it except for I started hearing every podcast talking about it. I saw posts about it, so I'm like, okay, what is this game? And so I tracked it down and I read the rules. I'm like, well, that seems interesting. So I wanted to try it. And basically, on your turn, you're drafting a guy, and you do that for, I think, 7 rounds worth of that. And you're drafting a person, and you have these discs, and you have tracks. And I love tracks. So this is kind of tracks the game. The different tracks either are the level of guy you can, the level of the person that you can get. So there's like 5 rows of them. The level of how many, there they are right there. The number of discs you can get, how many discs you can pull off, because you see the little circle on those cards.
Yep.
To activate them, you just put a disc on them.
Is that where you put your drink, like when you're playing games? No.
You have to be a really small.
Look, BJ, you will understand that this game is very environmentally friendly, and the insert is made of compacted bagasse.
Oh, really?
And it is very hydrophilic. So you're not. That's the one game I'm like, no drinks around it.
Keep it away,
because it will just puff up.
So tell me about the mechanics. You got you're drafting these little people.
You're drafting them, and then you have discs, and you put discs on them, and then you can take discs off of them. These are all tracks, and then there's a track that tells you how far and how deep your submarine can go. And so there's where your submarine's going. And then when they're down there, some of the actions take a second disc, and you're putting it on the board to either do a sonar move or to do
That part reminds me of Endeavor, because I'm assuming that's like whenever you send your ships around the different little oceans.
It's your action economy. It's your action points, essentially.
Yeah, you can do like the turtle action where you're doing, I forget what it's called.
Conservation.
The conservation there. Or then there's like the research one where you can get these cards. They can give you like more bonus actions. Anyway, it's really just, there's a lot of combo wombo, get this to do that, to keep kind of going. And then just at the beginning of the game, I was like, I have so many discs. What am I going to do with all these discs? And by the end of I'm like, I need more actions. And then by the end of the game, I'm like, I'm out of action, or I'm out of discs, so I can't do anything else. But I think you can really play this with a wide range of people, and it just kind of makes sense. It's very intuitive on the board, I think.
Dave said this game tracks. Track the track game.
That
I'm intrigued. I loved the original Endeavor. And
well, next time I'm in the Gumbo pot, I'll bring it along. How about that?
Let's do that one, man. So that's a thumbs up, 4.5 boings for you, board boy Rob.
4 boings.
Really?
No, not really.
We'll save it for the podcast, right?
Save it at the podcast. Sorry, I'm getting taunted by my wife right now.
I'm
So
not taunting you.
Has Amy beat you in this game already?
I mean, she probably would.
The colossal squid.
She wins a lot. So
I like the artwork. Artwork looks great.
It's a really pretty game. It is.
There's a lot of stuff.
And these are all. You're actually looking at all the retail stuff, which naturally I don't have.
Oh, you've got the deluxe edition, right?
I do.
Well, let me see what the big deal is.
Screen printed.
That's
and not generic meeples. Like, so each of our submarines has a different shape completely, and everything's screen printed. And
all right, let's see if they have something here. Do you have the Bissi Marini edition?
Yes.
Or the Daitif?
No, I'm not German. I'm French. You know this.
That's right. Oh, look at it. So this is the cop. This is kind of the copy you played, Rob, I guess.
Yes.
That looks like someone 3D printed insert. But yeah, you see our submarines are all different and screen printed.
Oh wow, that's nice looking. All right.
I don't know if you can see it. I actually have a copy back there, but it's not mine.
You stole?
No, I didn't steal it.
I would have told Jeremy's. I totally had my seal of approval if you did.
Rob, you know we're live right now, right?
Local guy.
You know we're live right now, right? I mean, like,
That's
Jeremy
true.
can see this.
He does have the internet. That's true.
He does have the internet. All right, so that is Endeavor Deep Sea. I am very intrigued. Logan, let's get that one played as soon as we can.
Absolutely.
BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest Rob from the Board Boys podcast and also Logan from the Kadiana Discord, and we're talking about some spicy hot games that we played at SoBo. And I've got a game, and the reason I have it on my list is I want to talk about it, but also I know both of you guys played it. So yeah,
You played my copy. Yeah.
This is, I think we did. We played Shack on the Base, not
did.
designed by Logan, but owned by Logan. This is by Fabio Lopiano and Nestor Mangione, two designers that I track with a lot in some of the games, but I don't always like every one of those games. Rob, I've got some thoughts, but I'm gonna let you. I'll let Logan give us a big description. What is Shackleton Base all about?
Well, like a lot of games that are space themed, you were trying to inhabit and set up a colony on the moon instead of terraforming Mars or something else. You're trying to set up shop doing for research and even tourism, depending on some faction.
I love Dave's description. It's Mardi Gras on the moon. I kept calling it rainbow farming Mars.
But yeah, you're setting up your little your biodomes right on the moon and stuff like that, trying to just colonize and do different actions. And there's 3 different factions that you're trying to appease as well.
We're in a crater, right? We're in a crater, and we're
in a massive crater in the moon. Yeah.
Yep. But easier to catch the beads in low G. Like that. I don't know if that would actually be easier. That might be harder.
No, it'd be harder. It'd be way harder.
Oh man, they wouldn't hurt as much when they hit your teeth. You know when the big thick white beads hit you in the mouth.
Yeah, man. Look, so
the reason
I picked this up actually. I bought it secondhand in the virtual flea market at BGG way in November. But I finally got it played a month ago, and the main reason I bought it is because it's published by Sorry We Are French, who for me have been hitting out of the park with In the Footsteps of Darwin and The Footsteps of Marie Curie. And so, but I heard this one was heavier. I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. But it definitely checks all the right boxes for me. It's space theme, which is one of my favorite themes.
Now, Rob, on the audio podcast, they didn't see you throwing your arms up like Rocky whenever I mentioned Shackleton Base. Why were you doing that? What's your thoughts on this game?
Well, this was in the hot games room at BGG Con, and I didn't look at the designers at all, and I just was like, there were so many other games I just skipped looking at it. Then I realized who it was, and I'm like, why did I skip that? So, same guy that I'm borrowing Endeavor Deep Sea from, same as Logan, got a copy off of BGG from somebody, and
it was tough to get for a while.
Well, yeah, it never came to the States, so these were all.
It still hasn't yet. It's being published, but I think I forgot who picked it up here.
Pandasaurus, because it's every other ad every time I turn on any piece of electronics. I don't know what kind of money they're throwing at the advertising, or maybe it's just specifically like to me. But
I only get 2 ads. I get Shackleton Base and I get something called Urban Footwear. I don't even know what that is, but Urban Footwear is going out of business and they're trying to sell me their shoes.
Yeah, I get a lot of Shackleton Base, but the replayability in that game is off the charts, I think, because there's 7 different companies that you can play with, and you only play with 3 at a time, and they're all different.
Yeah, we played with Brain Melt, Brain Destruction, and Totally Brain robbed me of my IQ, if I remember right. That's the 3 companies we played, I think, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. You were a farmer, I think.
I was the only one farming until the very last turn when Rob decided he would throw in there and try to get some farming going.
Why not?
What I did like about the game is the 3 different companies played differently. So I kind of called it reverse SETI, where you already know what the things that are going to come out. Yeah. And they're different every time, so you have to play toward them. Unlike SETI, where you could ignore the aliens if you really wanted to and just kind of focus on other stuff.
You could.
I don't think you can ignore the companies in Shackleton Base.
You can't.
Yeah.
They're a huge part of the game.
It's huge.
The cool part is even though they're all their own mini games, they all interact with the game the same way. So it's not like there's a crazy amount of new rules overhead playing with the different ones. Like even though they all have their own little one-sheeter to tell you what's up with it, they're really good. It's like setup is about this much for each of them. All their tokens work the same on the board as all the other tokens. And then on the back, it has an explanation of what all the cards do. So I think it's done really well.
And they come out right away, so it's not like SETI where they're, you have to, it's kind of a surprise. You're playing toward them. You're trying to build it up. It's the teach was great. It's just I have trouble with playing big games like this at the convention. I get that squirrel look. I've got so many things going on, and it's hard to focus.
Right, and I think a lot of people, some games are hard to table for some folks because they don't have a good game group or whatnot. So they want to play these kinds of games at a convention. But at the end of the day, it's your lighter partier games that really strike home and strike. Like, look, BGG Con, the one game I will always remember is Flip 7, right?
Yeah.
It's a very simple, straightforward game, but it's memorable to me because of the emotion it evoked when I think about it, even to this day.
But when
You
I
know?
play with Rob and Cam, we're gonna play 3 heavy Euros back or medium heavy Euros back to back to back, and I just gotta plow through it and get to
Sure.
it. But by the time we got to the third age of the game or era, I can't remember what they called it in this one. They're like third
Round.
turn,
Let's just call
basically.
it whatever
third
it is.
round.
Yeah.
By that time, I figured it out, but it was a little late. You know what I mean? By that time,
Sure.
I hadn't really done much in terms of leaves. I did get my big city out, whatever you call those. See that little pink thing in the corner
Yeah.
there? I did get mine out. I didn't score a lot of points, but yeah, there's the famous Dave quote, "I'm out." Was that Revive, I think, where he just went, "I'm
Yeah.
out"?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of worried about it after the first play. I'm fairly certain we played everything correctly the first time, but I somehow seem to just do everything. And I'm like, is this a game that isn't going to challenge you? And then I played it again and I didn't do nearly half of everything. So I don't know if that was a complete fluke the first time or something happened different, or maybe you do more somehow at lower player counts because we played at 3 players and it felt like you could do a lot more stuff than at
No.
4.
I wonder if it's a player count dependent. Where
I've
you're not
only
gonna be able
played it
to-
at 3, so I don't know. That's a good
It's
question.
like I literally built every building on my board the first game we played.
Oh, I didn't do that.
And none of us did that in our 4-player game.
No,
Not
and
one
I
of us
had
played it.
and I had all those middle buildings maxed out for 10 points apiece. And like, you know what? I didn't build all my little buildings, but I built all the other ones.
Hey,
Like all the
look,
other
you don't have to brag. Just say you beat the game. Like,
Well, that's what I was worried the first time I
Using the
played
Matrix.
it. Because a lot of times, like if you can do everything in a game, why are you still playing?
Sure.
it,
Why
you know?
why play it again? I totally get it.
So the twist in the game for me was you've got that crater and you're trying to put these people. You have to balance. You're trying to balance between 3 things. You're trying to put the people out on the edges so that way you could generate resources. Because without resources, you're dead in the water. And then you also need to have you and other players putting out people and still win the area majority on that length.
Yeah,
so
the
that you
area
can put
majority
those people
stuff
on.
is
Oh, yeah.
really, if you're not a dudes on a map, kind of player, like or at least have some experience, I can see how this game could lose people.
But then you
know?
still have to worry about when you're placing these people. You have to worry about colors because I felt like I was taking a bad turn if I put a blue dude on a red track because I
You
didn't get that bonus.
action.
Yeah.
I think you know what the first play might have done too was I had everyone has a player power and I had the builder player power, and then I also got cards that helped with buildings as well. And next time I teach that game, I think I'm gonna explain more that the cards are probably more important than you think. Like those cards can do all kinds of crazy stuff and break the game in a lot of different ways. And are
I think
super
I only had 2
powerful.
cards. I had only 2 cards the whole game, and Jared and JoJo seem to have a million of them.
Yeah, I mean you can kind of ignore, but man, those cards are good. And so I played twice with the first game set of ones where you had to bounce off. So I didn't get to tell you what they were, but there's the first game you're supposed to play. There's one that's like a travel agency. So
That's
you're
the one I tend to play, but that's also my career. So
you're taking those astronauts out. So that's fun. There's one where you're basically just like delivering this stuff to wherever to the moon, and then the third one is what was the third one? Do you remember?
So let's see. There was the order fulfillment one that you talked about, the mining company.
Yeah, then there's the mining company.
Mhm.
And then the one we played, there's like the farm, which that one was strange because you had to build the farms where you already had a building, but
It
then
was hard.
it had to be a different size because there was a size of 1, 2, 3. Like the farm wings seemed like next level kind of strategy things. And then we had one that was my favorite one, and it's the one Jared and I hammered pretty hard, was there's an asteroid coming for the moon. And
It was pretty thematic.
there's different sections of it. And if you fill out the first section, you get to see what part of the moon it's going to hit. And then if you fill out the second section, you instead of hitting the whole section, it will just hit one square. And then if you do the whole thing, it will miss you completely.
Yeah,
So
I think Jared has the right thing in this comment here, but it is one of those games. While you have a lot of options, I think the best way, at least as far as the path to victory, you focus on one or two. That way you can try to get as much done as possible as far as points wise.
Logan, Duga has a good point. I didn't see the module where you can build a Legends or a car wash on the Crater, because we seem to have 72 Legends.
I'm sorry, I'm in Youngsville, Louisiana, so it would be a storage facility on the moon.
It would be a storage facility, yeah. In our town, Rob, we have car washes and Legends Grill everywhere,
and Mexican restaurants.
And Mexican,
that's the joke here too. It's all storage facilities and Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that is Shackleton Base. I'm not ready yet. I didn't grok it until the end, so I definitely want to play it again. And I'm wondering if a 3-player game would be a little bit quicker. I think there was a little bit of downtime till it got back to my turn. So, sure. And Rob was laughing at me because I had my fingers on my player board, because by the time it got back to me, I was trying to
forgot what you wanted to do. Yeah,
because if I didn't, I would forget exactly what I was supposed to be doing. So.
Sure.
I didn't play Trio, unfortunately, Melissa, so I don't know.
Trio is awesome.
Yeah,
an
Trio
awesome card game. It's super fun.
It's on my wish list now. Games like that where you can just like laugh and have fun and realize how bad your memory is. That's why I like That's Not a Hat. So the game is That's Not a Hat 5s.
Did you have a game, Logan, that you want to chat about?
I mean, I didn't personally play much of anything new, and
true.
the new stuff because I was the hot games guy. So, but I think the most memorable to me was the one that was my on-V game last time I was on the show, was Wonderland's War.
Oh, that's right, Wonderland's War. Did you get to try that one? I mean, Rob, you played it.
Yeah, I love Wonderland's War.
I don't remember if you were involved in that one at SoBo. No.
No, I played Shackleton Base with you instead.
Oh, that's right. That's what we were doing at the same time.
Yeah.
Did you have a game you wanted to talk about, Rob?
I mean, just like high level duck and cover, which I know you've talked about a bunch. Like, I'm definitely gonna buy that. It's
Quack.
$10, and you can play with anybody.
I'm surprised he didn't make you buy it whenever we were at BGG.
Yeah, I love duck and cover. I sent a picture to my wife, and she thought that was cute. I was playing the Cupcake faction.
Right.
And
that's a popular one.
She's a side-time baker, so.
Yep. The little amusement park treat one with the cupcakes and all the different ones. So just to give a refresher, Duck and Cover is this quick little party game with asymmetric factions based on luck. Everybody's got a different faction, and we're trying to score as little points as possible because our ducks are in the bathtub and they're splashing around, making too much noise, and we're trying to cover all the ducks and try to get down to 0. Play 3 rounds, and it's the best of them. I mean, it's a pretty simple game, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like the simultaneous barrel peg game, right? Like everyone's trying to get their pegs, the ducks covered up, much like my children love doing with the little triangle pegs.
You can either duck or cover. If the number's called, you move. If your number's called, you got to decide. You're either gonna, if it's an 8 that comes out, then you got to either move the 8 to an open spot, or you got to cover another card that's adjacent to it. I mean, it's a pretty simple game to teach, and you don't even have to teach this. Yeah, and you have to say quack if you don't have it. And you don't even have to teach special cards, Rob. That's one of the things I like about it. That Paul Grogan style of, we're just going to start playing the game. You can do that with this game because people are going to get each of the rules as they come up. And then when the 2 or 3 special cards, I always say 2 or 3 because I think there's 2 in the base game, and then the third one comes in that little promo pack. So there's one card that comes with a promo pack, and for the life of me, I'm struggling to remember what it is. The biggest one. It's the biggest number, and that's in the base game. And then the last card you played, that's also in the base game. Can't remember what the third one is. Whatever that third one is, you just teach them whenever they come up. The only fiddly little rules is whether or not you have to shuffle the deck. I couldn't remember, and I looked it up, and that's right. If you start to run out of cards, you got to shuffle it. And then the only other fiddly rule is trying to remember how many ducks will be the quacked ducks will set off the trigger at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But again, this is all super easy, man.
Yeah. I think the main one I would want to talk about, because it's a big surprise for me, and Duga mentioned it already, is the Jest of Robin Hood, or a Jest of Robin Hood. Because I am not a GMT warm gamer at all. But this one is Robin Hood themed and on the lighter end of things, and plays in about an hour.
Really?
Even like learning it. I mean, I think Dave and I played it in about an hour, and it's on BGA. And so that's what it's my turn currently. I sent him an invite, and we've been playing on BGA. And
is that Dave Duga right there?
Yes.
So yeah, and the board, it's not that big. There's not that many pieces going on. There's the player boards. You can kind of see the gray player board there. Basically, I forgot the rule book in my backpack because I was reading it on the airplane. I didn't need it because all the rules are on the two cards basically that each player has, and then there's a screen to hide it, and the rest of the rules are on there.
Is this considered a coin game, or is it just a war game?
I guess I don't know 100%. I mean, it's asymmetrical factions. I think so. I think it's a coin game.
So how do you play? Are both sides playing completely different, like in Root?
Yeah, pretty much. So basically, I don't know if you can bring a picture up of the board again, but there's 3 actions you can do.
We're professionals here.
One person is going to be first player, one person is going to be second player, and then there's 3 actions. Yeah, it's down there on the upper right side there. You can see the little gray and green token. Above that are 3 actions. One is just to do one single plot action. One is to do whatever the event card says, and every event card has 2 different parts to it. One is good for Robin Hood, one is good for the Sheriff of Nottingham. And then the third one is to do the plots action and the deeds action. And so you have 3 plots and 3 different deeds you can do. And then basically, if you're Robin Hood, you're trying to pull that thing up to the justice. And if you're the sheriff, you're trying to pull it down to order. And you do that by putting guys out on the board. Robin Hood's robbing carriages and trying to rob random people walking around to get money. And we're trying to find them and throw them in jail and shut their camps down. And all those different areas can either be revolting or submissive at a certain time. And one side's trying to make them revolt, and the other one's trying to make them submissive. And then at the end, there's a deck, and it's seated. Every once in a while, you go through the royal inspection, and you do a bunch of actions, and that's all listed right there on your player aid. And then if a royal inspection, if you're at that 5, 6, or 7 number on your side, you win. Otherwise, the game keeps going. And then after 3 of those, Prince John comes back, and whoever has the marker on their side wins.
Do you ever try to pass like chickens or apples at all to the other player?
No, it kind of wants me to bring out Sheriff of Nottingham, actually. I have not played that game in a long time.
Yeah.
But no, I played it on BGA first, and I had heard lots of good things about it. There's a Rodney Smith video on how to learn it. Once you know the actions, the turns are fairly snappy.
I'm just impressed that you could play this game pretty much from the board without having to really, know the rules. That's
yeah.
good.
I'm a big guy when it comes to putting everything on the board. Like
Oodalali, yeah, Steve.
I don't think I didn't hardly open the rule book to Shackleton base either, because I taught it all from the board and the iconography on there.
Yeah, I like those heavy icon games. It makes it easier.
It's all written out in words.
Oh, geez.
So you got to sit there and read them on your board. But I mean, you only have 6 different things, so you can usually, you're like, okay, and they're named properly. So I want to rob. Okay, how do I rob someone?
And that's these things that you're talking about right here?
Yeah. So when you do the plots and deeds action, those plots say you can do it up to 3 times a piece. The deeds you only get to do 1 time, unless you take just the plot action, which is the very first thing. So it's cool. If you do the worst action where you just do 1 plot, you get to go first next round. And if you do plots and deeds, which is the most the heaviest action, or the best action, because you get to do more stuff, you're going to go last in the next round. And then the event is right in the middle. So it's basically, when I play, it's like, okay, what event came out? Is it good for me to do it? No. Well, is it terrible if he does it to me? No. Okay, well, what else do I want to do?
And is it close to that 1 hour promised time that's on the box?
I mean, Dave and I played it in an hour.
That's good.
And he was learning it. So it says 45 to 90 minutes on the box.
Logan, is this something you'd be interested in?
It's a little beige for me, but I mean, I'm never gonna say no to a game. I'll give anything a try. You know?
I mean, like 95% of things I think the GMT puts out, I have zero interest in.
Sure.
But this one, I mean, I liked the theme, and it was like on the lighter end of stuff, and so it called to me a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I love the theme. I love the Robin Hood storyline. So
Robin Hood is the one I'm looking at. Carlos also has Red Dust Rebellion, which is supposedly kind of an intro coin game that just came out. So I wouldn't mind trying the lighter fare that GMT has.
Sure.
We looked at the rules to the one about Arthur. I can't think of the name of it, by King Arthur.
Pendragon,
yeah.
I mean, I would love a Robin Hood Men in Tights version of this game, but
that I don't think they're going to do that one, but that would be a great one. That would be a fun one. All right, that's Robin Hood. Oh no, The Jest of Robin Hood, right?
Yeah.
The Jest of Robin Hood, and that's from GMT Games, and that's available. You guys have any other games to talk about?
I mean, something I played recently that I got to play with an expansion at SoBo that I think, Rob, you got to play before you left at Dobler's house was by Uchibakoya, was Ostia, played with the Pirates expansion.
Oh, yeah. I am happy to talk about that one.
That was the Euroiest of Euros.
I love this game. Let me tell you, I backed Sweetlands just after BGG, just so I could get Aqua Garden, and after I played this, and the campaigns are.
Oh, I think we lost him. Ostia, I think, is actually. Rob, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think Ostia is actually coming out to the United States. So, Ostia, you've played it?
Yeah, I think Jeremy told me that Crafty Games is doing it.
Crafty Games is coming out with it. It's got amazing artwork, and I mean, I guess the simple way to think of it is
it's a Rondell game.
It's an homage to Trajan. It's not Trajan exactly, but it's.
Oh yeah, I liked this game a million times better than Trajan.
To be honest, I did too. I really did.
Yeah,
hey, there he is.
Sorry.
The Rondell was fun. Moving the boats that way, it kind of reminded me just of we could do to the Rondell and like moving out that way a little bit to Crusaders. Wait, I Will Be Done.
Just stop one before you go on, Logan. Yeah. Are the muskrats working now, or they powered?
Yeah, I'm gonna blame my kids. I don't know what it was, but
muskrat, or maybe it was the Nutria.
Dude,
their internet is powered by Nutria and wheels.
Enough, so yeah, no, Nutria probably chewed through another wire.
Can't trust it. Okay, so back. So Rob, you were telling us an homage to Trajan, but both of us like this better than Trajan, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the.
That's it. Logan, I had to go buy a game.
I like the fact that the spot. So when you would move your thing around, wherever you picked up from, that's the resources you would get, and wherever
love that.
Wherever you ended is the action you would do. But it was nice that it reminded you of the fact that the resource is also the spot that takes that resource to spend it. So
clever, man. So clever.
And then that action that lets you do like any of the other actions and then do a bonus action after that.
That's that upper left hand corner action. Yep.
Yeah, it all just interconnects really nicely, and it has that. Oh, we have no idea who's really winning this game. I don't know. In any game, you can score over 300 points is just bonkers to me.
I don't think Jeremy and I scored that many, but we did pretty good in our little 2-player play. In fact, we streamed it, so you can watch it on stream if you want to check it out on YouTube. But
yeah, I think I scored like 360 some points my first game. I got rid of all the buildings, all the boats.
Really?
Yeah. I got to the top of the track, but I'll never do that well again in that game. So
now, how many players did y'all have in that one?
3.
I wonder if you can score more points with 3 players because you're really hammering out those buildings and you have everything going. You know what I mean?
Maybe those starting tiles, I started with an extra boat and an extra building already on my board, and that let me get those. When you build the buildings, it's cool because it lets you do stuff on the board, but it also makes your board better. So I really like that duality. You see that in a lot of different places in the game. It's cool. And like, that's a game where you can also just ignore certain parts. Like I ignored the cards for the most part. I ended up doing a couple of them, but you could go hard into the cards too.
Yeah. Jared ran out of time and did not get that one played, unfortunately. Yeah.
It's on my list to play again for sure.
Yeah, and right now, Logan is logged off to go buy that GMT game, so he's going to try to have FedEx deliver it tonight. I think.
I just want to shout out one more quick one. David taught me Automania. I'd always wanted to play this one because I heard Z on the Dice Tower long ago talk about it. Super easy to get into, like light worker placement game and like running your little cars and making your cars and putting them on boats. I really liked Automania, and I really hope somebody prints that again.
All right, so that's Automania, and that is published by Porta Games. We have always struggled with getting a Porta Games here in the United States. I don't know why, but what a cool game this it was
Automania super easy. I loved it. The designer, actually, I went straight out to BG to look at it, and they were talking about like reprinting it, and the designer said if they were to ever reprint it, they would want to like do a revised, like updated edition, because they always like to tweak stuff, right? So it might even be improved a little bit.
The news that Dave had told me, if I remember right, was that when no. So they were trying to find a co-publishing deal maybe or something, but I might be mixing up games. Is that what it is? But to be honest, it's been so long since I've played this. I don't remember all the details. I do remember that it's like a lighter version of Kanban for sure. You know, way lighter version, a family-friendlier version. But I do remember that it had a little bit of chunkiness to it. It wasn't like Ticket to Ride. I mean, it's got some weight to it.
Yeah.
So what are the actions again?
You basically just take your car, you take your worker, you put it out on the board, and you're building a car. You pay some money. It lets you take a tile. That tile goes on your board. And those tiles could be like people, or they could be car upgrades, or they could be stars. And what you're trying to do is you have 3 different kind of cars to make. And the conveyor belts you can see are different colors, and they go all different ways. And you just follow the conveyor belt. And then on the board, there's those green circle tiles that tell you currently how many stars each of those features are going to give your car. And then you're basically trying to make the highest star cars you can so you can put them on the boat. So when you sell them, you can get the most stuff.
I love this little puzzle though of trying to figure out, in other words, you can manipulate the conveyor belt a little bit, but you might be skipping stuff when you do that, right?
Yeah. And then like the crash test dummy might give you 4 stars this round, but then it gets shoved out next round and it's not worth anything. Mm-hmm. So it's constantly evolving and changing what you need to do with your board.
That is Automania. That is one of those just hidden gems that people need to play.
But, that's not a new hot game, but that was definitely high on my list of games I played at the con.
This part, if I remember, is the drafting part, right? You're using your cars to pick from a specific row and grabbing one of those tiles, right?
Yes.
Kind of like cities, maybe a little.
Yeah, and then you're also trying to take. There's instead of building a car, you can put your worker out and take like an order, and then you might fulfill. Maybe your convertible, you need to sell a convertible worth 10 stars that has power steering or something, and then you get points for that at the end of the game.
Kanban with no Sandra. That's right. Kanban with no Sandra.
Then is it Kanban?
Have you played?
Sorry, it was the Rugaru, by the way. I had to take care of it. Yeah.
The Rugaru got you. Have you played Automania? I don't think so, right? Nope. Okay, but you played Kanban, of course. So yeah, you got it right there. So. Well, I think that's a wrap for most of the game. Oh, there was one more game, but we could talk about it another time. That was Sunrise of the Studio. I really enjoyed Sunrise of the Studio and Longboard, 2 smaller little games.
Longboard sneaks. It's sneaky good, man. I like.
So if you like Lost Cities, Longboard is going to be something that you're going to like. It makes multiplayer Lost Cities, basically. That's that. And the version that he tried to do with Lost Cities with the multiplayer with the coins kind of burn out pretty quick. It was okay.
The card game or whatever.
Yeah, it had cards, not the card game, but it was the one that had coins. It had a little coin economy. I forgot the name of it, but that one was okay. But this one is a better version of Lost Cities in terms of because remember, just like in Lost Cities, you're trying to start a track, but you're just doing it with surfboards instead of the expedition, and you have to get to at least 4, or you're gonna get bopped at the end. You'll lose points if your surfboard's not long enough. But what I really liked about that longboard is that you're putting out little cards, and anybody can grab those cards from the resource row. You don't have a hand; you have kind of an open hand. Anybody can steal cards from you. I enjoyed it. That was longboard. I think that's about all of the ones that I can think of. A couple of mentions here. Jeremy said Stone Spire Architects and Hamster Roll. A lot of fun. Yep.
Yeah, Stone Spine Architects rocks.
I never got to play that one. I still have yet to play it.
It is a super snappy drafting.
I know
game.
who won the play-to-win copy at SoBo.
Who's that?
Me.
Logan got it. Okay, good. So yeah, we can try it. We can check that out. A couple of shout outs. Big shout out to Sepiyun over at Fight in a Box and Berkey from Game Toppers, because both of those donated some giant mats, and we broke every record in terms of the raffle. Rob, we sold the most tickets we've ever sold.
Nice.
And look, Berkey, if you're hearing this, I set up my personal Game Topper with the leg kit for our VIP
VIP. Yeah,
all weekend. Yeah, it was absolutely stellar. I really appreciated it. It stood up to a torture test all weekend. You played Andromeda's Edge on it, did you not?
I did, and it was gorgeous, big gorgeous mat. Yeah. I was the other thing that got me a little salty about Andromeda's Edge is I was on the end of the table, away from all the upgrade tiles.
Them old man eyes just couldn't see.
Oh man, my guacamole was killing me. I couldn't see any of those things. At one point, I had JoJo take a picture of the tiles so I wouldn't bother him. And so I look. To me, those upgrade tiles are very important, Rob, and I couldn't even see them.
They are.
Yeah, that was a struggle. So, well, Rob, you need to get some sleep, man. You haven't slept in like 4 days. We kept you up for 3 nights in a row.
Hey, at least my flight I got in earlier than I was supposed to and not get stuck.
Did you have your keys? Is all I need to know.
I did have my keys.
All right.
But my original flight was supposed to get in 11:50, and that flight was delayed till 3 a.m. And I snuck on a different flight that got in at 11 o'clock. Yeah. So something was with me yesterday. It was the mojo. So
that's pretty good. So only 365 days till you announce your return trip to SoBo 2026.
Eating more food.
And Logan didn't hear about Board Boy Con at Las Vegas Raiders.
I did at Allegiant Stadium. I was one of the 80.
Okay. Yeah.
You can go get your tickets at theboardboys.com.
February 31st, 2039, right?
Boardboys.com. Have your credit cards ready for Board Boy Con. All right. So that'll be it. I think we've covered all the games I want to talk about. I want to thank Rob from the Board Boys and Logan from the Acadiana Discord. Hey, Rob, if people want to hear the Board Boys podcast, because I'm assuming you're going to be doing a little in the banter section at the next time, you're going to be talking a little bit about SoBo, right?
Yeah.
How do they get in touch with you?
Theboardboys.com. From there, you can go check out our Discord. We have a Board Game Geek Guild. We have a Facebook and Instagram. You can follow us on all that stuff. We have a YouTube channel. All the links are at theboardboys.com. You can go and listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We're there. Every other Thursday.
You can just say, Alexa, play Board Boys podcast, right?
Yeah,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
You could say, Alexa, Gumbo pot on.
That's true. That works too. Our current episode is Finspan. So if you want to hear us talk about our thoughts on Finspan.
Yeah.
And next Thursday, we will be dropping Civolution by Stefan Feld. That is going to be a hot one. So
Logan, we got a sneak peek. I didn't know what the game was. Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I own it. I've yet to play it. I can't play Civolution.
I think when Logan freezes up,
I'm
we
looking
just
forward
need
to this episode to see if I even need to play it.
We need to keep talking, and we'll do it in Logan's voice.
It will be. I'm just gonna say it is an exceptional episode. So
Really?
You definitely want to check it out.
All right.
All
I want to
right.
check out Civolution. Steve, the name father, is a big fan of Stefan Feld. Although I can tell you, Civolution is supposedly Castle of Burgundy 2.0, and I'm not quite sure that's what it is.
It
No,
doesn't look
it
like it, that's for
definitely-
sure.
It definitely is not that.
Yeah, he did get a copy of Endeavor Deep Sea, but I would say, Jeremy, you should check your shelf. You should check your shelf because I'm not sure if your shelf is still there.
Yeah, I actually had borrowed that copy before I came to SoBo from a local guy. I just hadn't had a chance to play it yet. So.
And Logan, if they want to get in touch with you or join the Discord, how do they do that?
Sure. Reach out to me at @cardboard_Cajun on Instagram, and I'll send you a Discord link if you'd like to join a Acadiana Board Gamers Discord. We'd love to have you.
Yep. All right. Again, thanks to Game Toppers LLC. Remember, make your game nights a showstopper. When you play on a Game Topper, they were a big supporter of Southern Board Game Fest. We'll be announcing those dates pretty soon for 2026. Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo, and the YouTube channel. Helps us to get the word out about all of our upcoming shows. Next week, we'll be back in the Gumbo Pot. We should be streaming the Pirate Code, Rob, from Final Frontier Games. So Southwest is having a $39 round trip sale right now. You should probably make it. Come on down. Come on down. Catch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/BoardGameGumbo every other Tuesday night where we play your games live on TV, on Twitch. I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo, and for Rob and for Logan, laissez-les bon temps roulés.
Aye.
Or until next SoBo, laissez-les bon temps roulés.